Hey everybody, Sean McInnes here, and once again I am back on the stage show with a friend from Capcom. This time it's Melody Pfeiffer, who's here to talk to us about Dead Rising 2 K0. Melody, the system is getting booted up right now, so while we're letting it load up, talk to us about K0. It's sort of a new venture for Capcom, this idea of a downloadable prequel before the full game is even out.
Exactly. Yes, Dead Rising 2 K0 is a complete, unique, and compelling piece of content that's totally exclusive to Xbox Live and will be coming out before the game comes out. We actually just announced the launch date will be August 31st.
Okay.
It'll be coming out for 400 Microsoft points. And so it's a really nice way to let both fans of the series and people who have never played the game before check it out before the full version comes out in late September.
I know they just had, I believe they had a panel here recently with Inafune-san, who talked about the pricing of K0. Originally, a lot of people were saying this has to be $10, this has to be 800 Microsoft points, but he wanted to fight to make sure that it was 400 Microsoft points, so people, expose Dead Rising 2 to a lot more people than otherwise would be able to.
Exactly, and that's the point of it, to give it to the fans, but also to expand our market out to people who haven't played Dead Rising, the first one, and want to get a taste of the gameplay ahead of time. He joked that we, probably aren't going to make any money on it, but we're really doing this for the fans.
All right. So, what can you tell us about the context of K0? How does it sort of set the foundation for the full game?
Dead Rising 2 K0 is really the bridge between the first game and Dead Rising 2, so it takes place 2 years after the original game and 3 years before Dead Rising 2, and it's where we first get introduced to the protagonist, Chuck Green. We first meet Chuck, and we first meet his daughter, Katie. And at this point, Chuck's life has been destroyed. His wife was killed in the zombie outbreak in Vegas, and he is now trying to save his daughter, who also has been bitten and infected, and is basically trying to save her from becoming completely zombified before his very own eyes. And what he needs to do that is to find Zombrex, which at this point is a drug that you have to take every 12 hours in order to not become infected and become a zombie.
It sounds like maybe it's a little darker than the full game. I know I haven't actually been able to play K0 yet, but I played quite a bit of Dead Rising 2, and it seems fairly lighthearted. I've done a lot of goofy things in that game. It sounds like maybe the wife dying, the having the daughter around, it's a little bit more somber. There's definitely a somber edge to it. I think you also see that in the main game. I think what's really endearing about both the main game and in K0 is that you get to see the relationship between Chuck and his daughter for the first time. And that's very cute because, Chuck seems like this really hard, edge dude, and he's there and he's destroying zombies left and right. But when you see him with his daughter, you see kind of that softer side. And really what the mission is here is to save Katie and save her life. So, it's kind of cute, it's a little different, and it's definitely got an edge to it. But I think you also see the humor in Dead Rising 2 K0 with, kind of the different combo weapons that you get to try out in K0 for the first time. You get to see, a little bit of that, but, it's got that edge. All right, so we're loading it up right now, so we'll be able to you'll be able to sort of guide us through what's happening on screen.
All right, sounds good. And what's also really cool about Dead Rising 2 K0 is that people that plan to buy the game, the full game, get to take a lot of their character attributes from K0 and bring them into the full game. So things like alternative outfits, combo weapons and combo cards, and prestige points will all be able to take into the full game. And right here you've got Chuck, and you first see he's acquired a combo card, which are basically cards that you collect during the game that show the different combo weapons that you can create in the game. So they give you a hint. For example, the spiked bat, you see that there. It shows the nails plus the bat equals spiked bat. So a lot of times you can pick these up, and these give you the hints, and the tips that you need in order to play, in order to create the combo weapons. And you see Chuck, he's in Still Creek, which is the small town. It seems like a very calm, peaceful town. He is trying to, run and find Zombrex. There's been zombie attacks everywhere. There was the zombie attack in Willamette that led to a huge zombie attack and basically a zombie apocalypse in Las Vegas. Las Vegas burned to the ground. On top of that was created Fortune City. And you see here what they're trying to do is they're trying to kind of escape the zombies and keep getting Zombrex for Katie. She's already been infected. They get to Still Creek, and immediately Chuck has some bad luck. His car gets stolen, and he is now stuck here in Still Creek fighting zombies and trying to find the original Zombrex for his daughter Katie.
I would say at this point, having his car stolen is probably the least of his worries.
Kind of, exactly. Well, he doesn't know that yet when his car is stolen. So you can see him using the combo weapon for the first time. You can see him, you can do both, the single attack and then the serious attack with the spike bat that hopefully we'll get to see here, where you actually, basically, there you go, there you see it. Oh, here we go.
Some of those are pretty grim. My favorite weapon combination,
horrific, I'll tell you.
My favorite one that I played in Dead Rising 2 is you can get a metal bucket and you get some electric drills. You stick the electric drills inside the bucket, put it on a zombie's head, and turn them on, and suddenly the zombie doesn't have a head anymore. Exactly,
the drill bucket. One of my favorites is actually the Exsanguinator, which is where you actually take the vacuum cleaner and the blades, and you basically make zombie mulch out of it. You're gonna see that. You're gonna see that in Dead Rising 2, the main game. But you even get to see kind of some of the initial kind of gambling and money that you can collect in the game, as you can see here. You can actually play the slot machines, or you can just bang them with the bat, break them open, collect money. And again, the money you collect, the prestige points that you collect here, you can use in the game when it launches in late September 28th.
Do you know what other sorts of little mini games and distractions and whatnot are available aside from gambling?
In K0, you know what? I don't think there is. There's a lot of things to explore in K0. It's mainly about exploration.
Yeah.
It's about your first experience playing. There's a little bit of bowling involved, as you can see here.
Oh. That guy he didn't need that head anymore.
That's a whole kind of bowling I've never played before.
Oh, that guy, he wasn't even looking at you. Come on, that was...
It's all self-defense, Sean.
Here we go.
It's all self-defense. I think you might want to join...
Oh, come on,
You might want to join CURE.
Yeah, no kidding.
Which is the Society Against this kind of zombie killing, and you'll actually see in the main game as well. So you'll also see that this is a younger Chuck than you've ever seen before. He doesn't have a signature yellow motorcycle jacket on just yet.
You guys are actually selling those, I think, over at the Capcom booth. I saw.
We are.
How are those doing? Have you seen many people walking around with those yet?
I've seen a couple be sold. I would love to see one in person because I would take a couple photographs of that.
Yeah.
But they're limited supply, so we've got about 10 of those. So make sure if you want one of the really cool Chuck signature jackets. I think you would look great in one, Sean.
I like to think that I would look good in a leather jacket, although I've never worn one in my entire life.
And a spike bat, you would be ready for any zombie apocalypse any day. And here we see Chuck. He's got a frying pan. This is an amazing weapon. It's not a combo weapon, but it's a lot of fun. You can actually warm it up by putting it on the stove, as you saw earlier, and then basically fry a zombie's face off. Fun times. And there's a lot of really unique and different weapons than the first one that you can see here. You can check out and basically have fun on your zombie killing spree. You can also see Chuck can turn into fun. Oh, look at that.
Yep, there we go.
Chuck looks very becoming in a waitress outfit, as you can see. And this is the first time you really get to see Chuck dress up in different costumes, which is something that you knew from the first game that was a lot of fun to do. And you now see Chuck also, and there he goes against his own zombie waitresses. Exactly, a little melee action there.
Oh, Chuck. Oh, gosh. That's, he had competition for cutest waitress in the restaurant.
He did.
And he had to make sure that he held that title for himself.
Chuck can get jealous, you gotta watch out. But, no one can stop waitress Chuck from getting what he needs, as you can see here.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And you will have to one of the things you need to do, or the main really mission with Case Zero, is definitely to find Zombrax and save Katie's life. Because if you don't have it in 12 hours, just like in the first Dead Rising and Dead Rising, Dead Rising 2, you do have a time limit.
Okay.
You do have a time limit, and if you don't make that time limit, then you fail the mission. So although it's fun to mess around, see what other combo weapons, you do have to make sure that you're focused on getting the mission done in the amount of time you have. You've got Mohawk Chuck here.
Now,
I'm sure you've never seen Mohawk Waitress Chuck before like that.
I've never seen Mohawk Waitress Chuck before. That's a good look for Chuck. I like that.
Where's your Mohawk, son?
I didn't have time before Comic-Con to get a haircut, and it's, things were very busy in the last week leading up to this show.
That and Chuck's jacket, that's a new look for you. I think you should try out.
A little shot at Chuck's underwear while he climbs up in a little dress.
A little fanfare, you know. A little shot for the fans.
Give the fans what they want.
As you can see here, he's surveying the scene, seeing what's happening next. And this is a game that, again, there's been some concern from people who've played that, it might be too short. But again, this is just a piece of unique content that's not going to be in the original game. So it's a lot of fun to just kind of start your experience out. And hey, yeah, you could finish it in a half an hour, but honestly, like if you want to take your time to really go through, try out the combo weapons for yourself, fight some zombies, you're going to want to have some fun with it, and it can be a 3 to 4 hour fun experience for you.
Now, the full Dead Rising 2 sports 2-player co-op throughout the entire story. Does that work in Case Zero?
Case Zero is a single-player experience only.
Okay.
So the first time you're going to be able to check out co-op will definitely be when you play Dead Rising 2, the main game. Chuck doesn't have a partner in this one, not yet. See, it's not until the future where they're able to then clone Chuck and give the two co-op experience.
Technology was very limited during the timeline of Case Zero.
Well, exactly. It was right after the big zombie apocalypse, and they just didn't have time to clone him yet. No, really, that's not part of the story. I'm just,
that's not canon.
I'm just making it up as I go. Maybe they'll throw that in just for fun. I would have added that if I was working on it. But.
And that's probably why you and I do not write video games.
Probably not. I'll just promote them. I'll stick to that. That'll be a lot of fun. Oh, now you've got, and as you can see, you can run and gun in this game. It's a lot of fun. You have a lot of different guns for the first time, which is great. Shooting is a lot easier than the first game, and it just plays really smooth, really well.
So, do you have any idea roughly how long Case Zero is for sort of the average player on an average difficulty level?
I would probably say 1 hour, 1.5 to 2 hours,
Okay.
Depending on, how you play, if you're trying to get through it, but also solve the mission. Again, like I said, you could probably finish it in a half an hour if you just run through it. But you're not going to want to do that. As Dead Rising fans know, the fun of it is exploring, sandboxing, finding new weapons, finding cool, crazy items, playing fun games. And these are some of kind of the menu screens that show you, different ways, different items and how you can use them. And your mission kind of reminds you of the mission at hand. And you'll also see that this is a very different environment than in Dead Rising, the main game. You really get to see kind of an outdoors environment. In the main game, it's very glitzy, it's very glamorous. You have Fortune City. So it's kind of cool to have it in a completely different environment. Lots of burning cars and wreckage. And for the first time, you really get to see how many zombies there are on the screen. It really is impressive. It's just thousands and thousands of zombies.
Speaking of which, I'm starting to feel a little bit bad for these zombies. I'm starting to feel a little bit guilty that we're just like ravaging them nonstop. Let's give them a break for a little bit. Melody, I appreciate you dropping by and showing us Dead Rising 2 Case Zero. Yeah, unfortunately, yes, we are. One last question for you. I know you mentioned this at the beginning, but go ahead and reiterate. When is Case Zero going to be available on Xbox Live?
Case Zero is going to be available on Xbox Live on August 31st. So you have about 6 weeks before you can play it for yourself. So check it out.
All right, Mel, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So guys, that does it for your look at Case Zero. Let's go see what Homer is up to on the show floor.
Bye.